beautiful souls. I am Valeria Maritza at Healing Through You. I am an infinite being of light, and so are you. Today, I want to talk to you about healing from within. And when talking about healing from within, I'm talking about healing your body and soul. So, when it comes to disease, when it comes to terminal illness, when it comes to hurting our bodies physically, how do we heal? So the first thing is looking at where did this come from? And it's not the regular way of like, I fell down the stairs and chipped a bone on my ankle, which by the way, it did happen to me in December. That's just the physical way that it manifests on our life. But where did this come from? So I'm going to use my story when I skipped a step on my stairways and chipped a bone on my ankle in December. I had just come back from a mini vacation Thanksgiving, and everything was so lovely and beautiful. And I had been wishing that my husband had a little bit of extra time with our son, that he had a little bit of more time during the everyday, day to day thing. I was wishing for that. I was like, oh, wouldn't it be nice if the connection there was a little bit deeper, if there was a little bit of extra time for them to just have a conversation? Well, not even a week after that, um, I skipped a step and I chipped my bone. This is the third time I've said it. And I had to go to the emergency room. I was put on, I couldn't put any weight on it. I was given crutches, which I couldn't manage. So I was just dragging my butt literally on the ground from room to room. I was dragging myself on a office chair downstairs so I could move faster. It was not good. This went on for like a whole week. Um, so it was quite inconvenient. And what happened was that I couldn't drive. It was my right foot. I couldn't drive. I couldn't do anything. So my husband had to take care of our son. In the morning, he had to make sure that he was up, that he got his breakfast ready. He had to make his lunch, all the things that I did. He had to take him to school. He had to pick him up, and then he had to make dinner and all of the things that I did, but not everything, just the things that I had to get up and do. So I realized after the first day that, oh my gosh, I just manifested this. Like, really, when we're asking for things, um, we really need to be clear to the universe as to what it is we want and kind of like how we want it, such as without pain, because the universe will deliver instantly. And so that's what happened. I was put out for an entire week where I couldn't really walk. And so my husband was taking care of this, and I was in my bedroom and I was listening to their conversation as they were having conversations at dinner time and breakfast time. And I was like, oh, that's so nice. Look at the conversation they're having. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I understood exactly what happened. I manifested that. Okay. How do I heal? How do you heal quickly? So I'm a quantum energy healer. And what I do is I run energy through the body. And how do I do that? I ground. So I visualize, and I'm telling you this because you can do this as well. I visualize a beautiful golden cord coming up from the center of the earth, reaching the soles of my feet and connecting. And then running that connection up through my legs, connecting to my root chakra, and then moving up all of my chakras, uh, up my center body, and then exiting through my crown chakra, the top of your head, connecting with divine light, with God, with your higher self, with the Buddha, with whomever it is that you're working with, right? So connecting with the higher forces that are not us in our body. Then I open my crown chakra and I allow divine light to fill my body. So start bringing that beautiful divine light down through my body and going back down to the tip of my feet. And just as I'm saying this is happening, like, because I can feel it. I can feel it moving down like a river, like a tickle. And when it gets to the top, to the toes, to the tip of my toes, it just like feels like, like when you're feet are kind of like falling asleep and you have that tickly feeling. It almost feels like that to me. And then I move it up and down, and this is how I align my chakras and I run energy on my body. And then I just set the intention that I'm going to send the energy to the part of my body that needs healing. And so when this happened with my ankle, I started sending all of the energy to the ankle bone. And after 4 days, I was feeling so much better and feeling like, yeah, this is working out. And then on day 6, so I had to wait 8 days to go to the orthopedic doctor so they can see and tell me exactly what the plan was. I was told it was going to be 6 to 8 weeks without putting any weight on my foot. That was terrible. Anyway, on day 6, I had the knowing that it was healed. I just, like, I was putting energy there and I had the knowing. And when I went to the orthopedic doctor, he pretty much said, without using the English words, that my injury was kind of like a bad sprain. But he couldn't say that. He couldn't call it a sprain because the x ray showed a piece of my bone missing. So the physical evidence was showing him, yes, there's a chip here on the bone. Yet I had healed so fast and so well up to that point that to him it looked like a bad sprain. And so he gave me a walking boot right away, and I started being able to walk right away on day 7, after I was told it was going to be 6 to 8 weeks. And then he said, wear this for 2 weeks and then come see me, and then we'll see. And I wore it for a week just to listen to him, but after 3 days of wearing it and walking on it, I was pretty much done. I still needed to work on the muscles there because they were already feeling weaker from not using them for a whole week. But my healing of that was so quickly. And so how do you do that? How did I do that? Number one is looking at what happened, right? So what is the universe trying to tell me when this accident happened? And once you realize what it was that the universe is trying to tell you, then you're able to put it together and you're like, oh, that's what it was. Okay, thank you very much. And you kind of move that energy out of your body. Then you start sending healing energy to your own body. Whose healing energy? Your own. You have this within you. You have this inside of you. You are able to do this. It's called your chi, right? It's called your life force energy. It's like many different cultures have different names for it. It's the same thing. It's your own energy. It's your light within. Or we could also call it your own divinity, because you are part of the divine. When the divine created you in the divine's eyes and likeness, it means that you also have the power, or the ability, I should say, to do things that the divine can do, right? In your own human body. So things are a little bit different because you are living in a solid, heavy, three-dimensional body, and the divine is not. So there are some differences there, but you can still do it. Okay, so I was walking around and pretty much healed from this within 2.5 weeks total. Where I was just walking around with no boot and everything was pretty much the same, not jumping yet, but that was my own ego, me being afraid. And so I healed it, right? And so going from prognosis, which is, oh, this is going to be 6 to 8 weeks, the first thing that I did in my mind when I was told that was tell myself, no, that's not true. I reject that. I reject what you're telling me. I didn't say that to them, to the medical people. I just said it to myself. That's not going to be, because I'm going to heal myself. I just knew it. So that's number one. Number one is realizing that you're able to get information, receive information and help, but at the same time, check in with yourself as to like what it is that you know within you that is true for you and how you're able to do it. We are so accustomed to believing what the medical field tells us because they have studied so many years, because they have diplomas on the walls, right? And so a lot of us, a of people are like, I'm just going to wait to see what the doctor says. And then whatever the doctor says, that's what I'm going to do. And we're giving our power away. And most of the things, especially with disease, not something like a break, um, like I had, we just take on whatever it is that they tell us. If the doctor says, okay, you have cancer, like our first thing is like, oh my gosh, we like almost die inside just from hearing the words for most of us, right? It's such a scary word. And then we wait for the treatment. What's the treatment going to be, right? And of course, the treatment for cancers, most of them, the ones that have been used for, decades now, are mostly killing all of the body. They kill the cancer cells, but they kill all of the rest of the body as well, right? They're not advanced enough to just target. I mean, yes, they have trials and they have things, but it's not available for everyone to just target the cancer cells, and allow the rest of the body to continue to heal itself, right? That's not worldwide available. What's available right now is using chemotherapy and radiation and things that really mess up the whole rest of the body, along with messing up the cancer cells and killing them, right? So going within and knowing within that you don't have to take the answers that they give you, and that you can connect with yourself, what's inside of you, and heal yourself, because you just know that you can, because you are a divine being, a part of the divine, right? Then you can heal and change things in the quantum field. And what does that mean? Is that it happens quickly. It happens quickly. And also it happens in a way that is not the norm. So it happens in a way that you don't really need to understand how it's happening, but it's happening because you believe in it and you intend it. So, for example, when you break a bone, such as I did, well, I chipped one. When you break a bone, and what is the treatment for that? If it's completely out of alignment, they put it back in alignment, and then they put a cast there so that you don't move it, so that it can heal. But here's the thing: the doctors are not healing the bone, you are. The person's body heals the bone, mends the bone, all on its own. They don't it doesn't need any medicine, it doesn't need anything. Your body knows how to heal it, how to put it back together, how to weave the the tissues back together and mend it. You're not doing this, and you're not thinking, okay, let me think, I'm going to start growing bone on this side, I'm going to grow something on that side, I'm going to mix it together and make it strong again. You're not thinking that. Your body knows that. It's an intelligent source. Your body is intelligent, it can heal itself, right? So when you break a bone and the doctor just gives you a cast and tells you to rest, what kind of medicine do they give you? Pain medicine. That's the only thing they can give you. The doctor cannot actually fix it, unless it's one of those things when it's like completely shattered and then they're putting like rods and pins in you, right? But for the most part, your body heals itself. And just just put attention into that. Like how miraculous your body is that it can actually do this all on its own, without anybody's help, without you thinking or knowing how it's happening. You're not thinking this cell is going to reproduce another one. You're just allowing it to happen. You don't even think about it. You're sitting on your bed with your leg up, reading a book or watching TV or having, a good time with your friends. Well, as much as a good time as you can have with a broken bone. But you understand? So it is the same exact way that you can heal different disease. And you're like, no, that's different. Of course it's different. It's not like a solid thing, but it's the same thing in terms of healing the cells, right? You don't have to know how it happens. You don't have to figure out how to do it. You just put your intention and send your energy to heal. And just like Reiki, when a practitioner does sense Reiki energy, or you do Reiki if you're doing that, how does that work? You activate the energy and you send the energy out to the person or to whomever it is that you're healing, right? And that's it. The energy, the Reiki energy, goes to wherever it is that the body needs it. It knows where to go, it knows where it needs it. It actually shows practitioners, right? Practitioners can be like, can have someone on the table and you're like moving your hands, and then you feel a difference in the heat, in the intensity of the heat on the hands and the person, because the energy is telling you, here it is, this is the part that you need to work on. And so that part intensifies, and then the practitioner leaves the hands there to focus on that area. But the practitioner didn't do it, the energy does it. The energy is the one that's showing you where it is. So the energy goes wherever it needs to be first, wherever it needs to heal the most. So in order to heal our bodies from disease, you want to first figure out, where is this coming from? What is the universe trying to tell me? Why did I manifest this? Because we do, right? And you're saying, why would I ever manifest something that is bad or, hurtful? Well, there's so many answers to that. I'm not going to go into all of them. I'll just tell you really quickly. Our soul comes into this earth to grow, to learn things, and to expand. And so sometimes we choose some type of disease so that we can learn and help others learn the lessons that we decided we wanted to learn. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that at that, because this today's podcast is not about that. But you want to figure out where it came from. There's a wonderful book by Louise Hayes, You Can Heal Your Life, and she talks specifically about what types of emotional scarcity, or what kind of things are manifesting in the body as what type of diseases. So, for example, with breast cancer, is about feeling that you're not feeling nourished. You are giving so much, but you are not feeling taken care of. You're feeling like no one takes care of you, basically. And that is a manifestation of breast cancer. Different types of cancers have different things. Skin disease, everything. You should look it up if you haven't looked up the book. It's really, really good in allowing you to see, oh, yeah, you know what? I do feel this way. And then you're like, okay, once you have the answers in front of you as to like, okay, this is why I was feeling and this is why I manifested it, then you can start working on that part that you're missing. Working on receiving the love or the acknowledgement that you had not been feeling, working on seeing why you're feeling this way, why this is manifesting, what can you do to change it. So you face your shadows, you face what happened to create this, and then you move it out of your body. The way I do it is I send it down my legs, down back to Mother Earth through my roots. And then you do meditation, you do breath work, you do whatever it is that you do to connect with your inner self, and you send and activate your life force energy, to send that life force energy to the parts of the body that need the healing. It sounds all very simple. It sounds all like, yeah, right, like that's gonna work. But you know what? It does. It does work. It works when you do it. It works when you believe in it. Obviously, if you're completely out of sync with yourself, with who you are, with your power, with your light within you, you're going to be like, yeah, right. And that's it. You're not going to think twice about it. But then again, you probably will not going to be listening to this podcast or other podcasts like this, right? If you are listening, it's because you were meant to hear this. If you found this one and you're listening to this particular podcast and this episode, it's because you were meant to hear it. Now, there are some times when we manifest something in our bodies and we don't really want to get well with it, because we want to learn all of the lessons that we had decided we wanted to learn. We want to go through it. And you know what? When somebody gets sick, the lessons are not just for us, the lessons are also for everyone around us, right? Our family, our friends. They are learning something by seeing you when you're sick. What are you teaching them in your pain? There's so many people, right? There was this lady, Birdie. She was in America's Got Talent, I believe, one of those shows, and she went to sing, and she had terminal cancer. She actually passed away. She decided that even with all of that and all her treatments and whatever, she was still going to pursue her dream. And she went and she got on stage and she was in front of the TV and she uh, continued doing her dream. And she was so inspiring to so many people that look at this. The doctors gave me 1 month to live, but here I am on stage. Yeah, this is what I'm doing because I'm living life to the fullest right now with what I can right now. So perhaps her lessons were not um, to get well from this, but to teach others of how it could be, right? So we all have our own lessons that we have wanted to come to this earth to learn and also at the same time teach, because you're teaching and creating every single second of your life, whether you know it or not. Your parents are teaching The parents are teaching the children not just by teaching and saying things, but by their actions and what they're doing. Kids are watching all the time. Everyone is doing this, right? And especially kids. They are always learning by what they see. So, how do you carry yourself? How do you behave? How do you react or act? Or what things do you do when you are faced with trauma or when something that's very challenging in your life? What do you do? How do you act? That's how the kids learn. That's how they learn how they should be maybe behaving, right? So, healing from within really comes to see like who we are inside, connecting with your light, your true divinity that is inside. And then, this is really powerful, connect to your heart chakra, because love is all there is. And when you start to love yourself, you can begin to shed so many things that you no longer need, including disease, including the lessons that you're learning by getting hurt, like I did. So now I'm like, okay, thank you, universe. That was great. I see that my husband and my child had a beautiful time. That was awesome. Okay, you know what? If I want more of that, that would be great. But I'm going to make that time. I'm going to allow that time to happen. I'm going to make myself busy. I'm going to immerse myself into something that I like and give that time to them so that they can have that time. So I'm not there all the time available. And then if I'm available all the time, then of course my husband's going to come up with something else to do to fill his time. When I remove myself from the space, then I allow him to have that time with him. You see, it's so much easier to do that for me to go out for a walk, perhaps by myself, for me to immerse myself in my painting or a meditation and leave my child with my husband so that they can have their own time together and bond and do the things that I was hoping for, right? That's the lesson. And as I'm speaking to you, this whole lesson that I had for myself is just unfolding. This is how beautiful this is, right? This is how beautiful the universe is when it speaks to you. So this is how you do it. This is how you connect with yourself. This is how you send energy to your body. You need to become really aware of what's going on around you. You need to ask questions without looking for the answer. What are you trying to tell me, universe? And just leave it at that, because the universe will give you the answers. All right, guys, I hope that this was helpful for you. It took a completely different way of what I was thinking, but I'm channeling. I connect with my higher self, and I allow whatever comes through to come through. And this is how my podcast um, is recorded. So much love to you. I hope this helps you. I hope it resonates. Leave me any comments if you can, or if you know how, if this resonates, or ask me any questions. And I will see you next time. Much, much, much love to you. And I'll see you later. Bye bye.